Hello and a very warm welcome to you. I'm Hayley Palmer. It's so good to have you here on tonight's show, especially as we are joined by the absolute legend that is Paul Hardcastle. And here is what happened when I caught up with him. Hardcastle.
Hello.
Is it really you?
I've looked in the mirror and it's me.
Because we had a lovely little interview in lockdown, didn't we? Do you remember?
We did indeed, yeah.
It was like the highlight of the week because in lockdown.
I hated it, as I told you.
Yeah, me
if you
too.
remember. It was like, whoa, what's
Me
going
too.
on here?
This is so nice that we are in real life.
Exactly, yeah.
I've got a salted caramel liqueur, that's the word. I haven't
It's her
drunk too
birthday.
much, I promise.
It's her birthday.
It's been my birthday the whole week, so this is part of the celebrations to come and see you.
Good. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
All
How's
year.
it all going?
I'm good. So what did you do last night?
He's stitching me up now. I might have gone and did karaoke, but I have made it here today.
Okay, well, on that note, then I've got this little present for you because you said it was a heavy night. So you don't have to
What
show
is
it.
this?
You don't have to show it to
He's got
people.
He's got me paracetamol in a princess sparkly bag. What a combination.
Just
Do
in
you know
case
what?
you had a headache, that was all.
I asked you what was in that bag
I
earlier.
know you didn't, I lied.
Because it really caught my eye. That's a lovely bag, isn't it? And thank you.
You can have that and the bag and remember
appreciated.
this day.
I love that you think I'm that tragic. It's not that bad. I'm
Good.
here. We're going to have a great show today. But what have you been up to recently, Paul?
Wow, I think I told you about the Luther and the Whitney Houston thing that I've been asked
That's
to do.
exciting.
Very exciting. I mean, considering, they could have asked anyone to do that, out of 1,000 producers. I mean, I got asked by most probably the biggest sort of company who own their catalogue.
So you got a phone call? Or
it was an email, actually, just saying, would I be interested in sort of recreating some of their catalogue? And they've got a lot on their catalogue, Bob Marley, all these different people. And the first thing that caught my eye was Whitney Houston. And the track I chose, no one hardly even knew, even at the label. It's the B-side of the Shoop Shoop song. It's called Dancing on a Smooth Edge. And it was a ballad, and I've sort of like funked it up and stuff, and they loved it. And then I've done the same because Luther Vandross, So Amazing, was a ballad, but I've done the same to that.
That's one of my favourite songs.
Is it? Oh, well, I'll tell you what, as it's your birthday,
Yeah.
afterwards, I'll let you have a little sneak preview. How about that?
I would love that. I honestly think that song is literally amazing.
It sounds a little bit different because obviously I've moved, moved it around. But all they sent me was just the vocals, and I had to redo all the music for it. And that was real good fun. And to be honest with you, I found it really easy because when you've got two of probably the best vocalists in the world, it's very hard to go wrong. But it does sound good. I'm very pleased and proud of it. Last time we spoke, I think I just had Hardcastle Jnr coming out.
Yes.
Which basically did very well. We had 4 number ones off of that. That was the one that my son Ritchie played on. So he played on a track called Tropicool, and then Hardcastle 10 came out about 5 months ago, and Paul Jnr's all over that one as well. But he
I love
plays
it's a little
sax.
family affair. We love that.
Yeah, totally. And Maxine's obviously been on some of my stuff as well. So it's been a kids get on there and do something sort of Hardcastle Dewberry.
Yeah, we're living for that. Well, we're going to go into 19. I've got to say, we've got a question from one of our viewers that says, you kept Duran Duran off the number 1 spot. Have you ever spoken to them since? What a question.
No, the last time I saw anything to do with it, if I'm being honest, was I think Simon Le Bon was being interviewed, and the interviewer said, "Oh, you didn't get to number 1," and he sort of said, "Well, he keeps remixing it, doesn't he?" Which was the plan. I did that because don't forget, look, I wasn't really known, number 1. Number 2, you've got most probably the biggest band in the world, Duran Duran. You've got the hugest film in the world, View to a Kill. And to stop that record was like, that was the way I did it. I just basically remixed it again. And I kept on getting these messages from the record label saying, no, they're going to overtake you next week. And I was like, you're not having my number one spot, no. But I have to concede that I was very pleased to go to number 2 when The Crowd came out, when they did that thing for the Bradford fire disaster. I was happy that sort of all sort of you know. So yeah, that was the story of that. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
In 1965, Vietnam seemed like just another foreign war, but it wasn't. It was different in many ways, and so were those who did the fighting. In World War II, the average age of the combat soldier was 26. In Vietnam, he was 19. 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 19.
The heaviest fighting of the past 2 weeks continued today, 25 miles northwest of Saigon. I wasn't really sure what was going on.
19. In Vietnam, the combat soldier typically served a 12-month tour of duty, but was exposed to hostile fire almost every day. 19.
In Saigon, a U.S. military spokesman said today more than 700 enemy troops were killed last week in that sensitive border area. Throughout all of South Vietnam, the enemy lost a total of 2,689 soldiers.
According to a Veterans Administration study, half of the Vietnam combat veterans suffer from what psychiatrists call post-traumatic stress disorder. Many vets complain of alienation, rage, or guilt. Some succumb to suicidal thoughts. 8 to 10 years after coming home, almost 800,000 men are still fighting the Vietnam War. None of them received the hero's welcome.
Saigon, 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 Saigon.
19. 19. 19. Vietnam.
Saigon,
Vietnam.
Saigon,
Vietnam.
Saigon,
Vietnam.
Saigon.
Purple Heart. Purple Heart.
I wasn't really sure what was going on.
Now we have got a little bit of a treat for you because we're very good to you here on the show. We've got a little bit of a competition, haven't we?
We have, which you're going to basically ask the question.
Jazz hands. No, you're going to ask the question and I'm going to tell you how you can win this.
Okay, so
Take it away,
basically,
Paul. Good teamwork.
what it is, it's basically a compilation of all my first stuff from the 80s and things. So you've got every single single, stuff that's never been released before, the Japanese, the French, the Spanish versions of 19, they're all on CD. These have not sort of like been released on that. So I'm going to ask you,
There
in
we
World
go.
War II, what was the average
Yeah.
age of the combat soldier in World War II? Okay.
And if you want to be in with a chance of winning, I want you to tweet me at presenter Hayley. We're going to put details on the screen and put hashtag competition with your answer.
And it is, I must say, it's actually one of the first ones, basically, that's just been printed because it doesn't come out yet. So, can I just stop this interview, though, please?
Yeah.
I'm just... You're asking me all these questions, right? Let's turn it around. Welcome to the Paul Hardcastle Show, and I've got with me Patsy Palmer. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, EastEnders on the brain. Hayley Palmer.
Hayley Palmer.
I know, it was a joke. So anyway, Hayley, tell us, have you always wanted to be a TV presenter?
Oh, I love that you've done this.
Good.
After I've had a couple of hours sleep, this is brilliant. I have always wanted to be a TV presenter.
From when? From
when I was little, because I always got in trouble for talking at school, college, work. They were like, Hayley, can you stop being so loud and talking?
You're not loud.
And I'm not loud, but just like talking the whole time. They were like, enough. If Hayley could stop the chatter, she'd be really good at science.
So, okay, so basically you then, from that age, you wanted to be a TV presenter. Was that the only thing? Here's another question. What would you have done if you hadn't have become a TV presenter?
He's good, isn't he? He's after my job.
I'll get it as well.
Yeah, you know. So I was a dance teacher before that.
Oh, okay.
I did this, which so that people know.
Can you break dance?
I can't break dance. Well, I can on a night out. Paul, we have got another question from Vicky, one of our viewers. It says, you had an Oscar winner and BAFTA winner, Sir Laurence Olivier and Bob Hoskins, on this single, Just for Money.
Yep.
How did you get these two heavyweights involved?
Well, Bob was really into it from the start. I told him my idea. It was about the Great Train Robbery and the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And he was like, yeah, sounds a bit of me, that type of thing. So Lawrence, that Simon basically sorted all that out. But it just so happened that his daughter, Sir Laurence Olivier's daughter, liked 19 and played it to him. And he sort of agreed to do the intro and through the record. And I wanted someone to sort of, that had real, whatever you want to call it, gusto, class, whatever, personality, to introduce the fact that what we was talking about. And he says, Glasgow Station, the Royal Mail's train's waiting. And when he says, at the end of it, he says, more money than you can dream of. But then some people have big dreams. And when he said that, it was like whoosh.
Yeah. It was just like whoosh.
Yeah, it really did. His voice was fantastic.
So why did you actually decide to write about it?
Because after 19, I was in a bit of a muddle. Everyone was saying, do this, do that, do that, do that, don't do this. And my head was like,
yeah.
And so I just thought, it just came into my head about the Great Train Robbery and stuff, and I'd always been fascinated by it. So I just thought I'd do it, but I wanted to also do the St. Valentine's Day Massacre as well, Al Capone and that type of thing. So the video makes the song. The song on its own, I have to admit, it's not something that I play much anymore. Well, I don't play my own music, but...
Don't you?
No.
Sneakily?
No, I mean, obviously if I hear it on the radio a lot.
Yeah.
I'll listen a little bit and see if the DJ has a go at me or whatever, but no, it's not, I move on. I've done 38 albums now. Hey, I think the last time we spoke, I'd done 31. So I've been very busy, yeah.
Yes, you are. Well, we're going to check out the video and I'll be catching up with Paul after this.
Glasgow Station. The Royal Mail train's loaded with over £2.5 million. That's more money than most people can dream of. But then, some people have big dreams.
What if we get caught?
Of course we won't.
Let's say we do.
Don't worry, just think about the money. Imagine what you can do with it.
It's the last job I'm going to do. I'm in for this one, then I'm out.
It's a life of luxury, my son.
I'm off to Spain and that's it.
Go to Spain. This is going to be the crime of the century.
Valentine's Day. Red roses. It's said that some have died for love. In North Clark Street, Chicago, they died for money. Died for money.
Cops always line you up with your nose in the bricks. They'll expect that. Once their backs are turned, we'll just pepper the wall with them.
You got the cops.
A couple of guys they're clean, don't worry. Hey, I'm paying you. Worry. It's gonna be a messy business. Our business, their mess. You know it's Valentine's Day out. You want I should leave a message? Yeah. It's a good day to die.
Rich men in the world divided up their money amongst themselves, there wouldn't be enough to go round.
This is going to be the crime of the century.
£2.5 million.
This is going to be the crime of the century.
More money than you could ever dream of.
Don't worry, just think about the money.
I'm in for this one and I'm out.
Imagine what you can do with it.
The love of money is the root of all evil.
I'm in for this one and I'm out.
Just think about the money.
I'm gonna buy a roller.
Just don't mess it up. Well, the only place you'll be going is the Scrubs. The Scrubs. The Scrubs.
I'm going to South America, sit in a bar and drink champagne.
Don't mess it up. Well, the only bars you'll be seeing will be on your windows.
The train robbers were sentenced to a total of 307 years.
Now, Paul, I understand that you were asked to do the theme tune. The Top of the Pops, my favourite. And by the way, I really missed Top of the Pops on the Thursday. Life will never be the same. How did this actually all come about?
So just beforehand, we was doing Top of the Pops for Don't Waste My Time, which I did with Carol Kenyon. And just coming off the stage, and this guy come up to me, and I didn't know him from Adam, to be honest with you, and I thought he was a cameraman. And I basically started speaking to him, and he said, "Oh, I really liked 19." He said, I really liked, you know, that came across really well, what you did on Top of the Pops just then. So he then said, would you be interested in doing the new theme tune for Top of the Pops? And as he said it, he sort of put his hand out. He said, "Oh, I'm Michael, by the way."
You're like, okay.
I knew then, bang, it was like, whoosh, this is Michael Hurl.
Wow.
And he was God. Anyway, I did it in 2 days. I just had this new piece of equipment from America called a synclavier. And it was one of the first, well, it was the first ever total digital, basically, platform. People beforehand used to put on it, it's all digital. It wasn't. It used to be digital tape they would use. This was the first thing that ever went onto discs, hard discs. So anyway, I did it in 2 days. I stayed up one night, had a bit of sleep, did it again because I was like pumped up, buzzed. And I sent it over by bike. No internet in them days, no emails. And he just got on the phone. He said, "I think that is wonderful." He said, "Thank you." 2 weeks later, it was on. But the funny thing was, when we released it as a record, Radio 1 wouldn't play it. And I know you're going to ask why. The thing was, all the EastEnders were actually releasing records, and it was becoming a little bit like everyone on the TV's got a record out. And I'm like, but hang on, this is your show. This is Top of the Pops, which is... So Michael Hurl, he said, he went mad. He said, if they're not going to play my record, I'll show them. And I was the first person to ever have a record played before it was released. And if you want to look at it on YouTube, it's called Top of the Pops' First Ever Play. And I think I had half of the show in my music. Every single thing, everything. Mike Smith, God bless him, he got some great stuff coming up from Paul Hardcastle soon. I mean, it was just like crazy. So in the end, there was girls wearing Paul Hardcastle T-shirts, Top of the Pops, and waving 12 inches and all this stuff. He played the video to the very end. They used to always stop the video before the next bit, you know. And he played it right to the end, and you can see me sort of like with my eyes red because I was supposed to look angry. And the midweek, you know what midweek was, don't you? Basically what you would get in midweek where your record was sitting.
Whereabouts it is, yeah.
When it was something like 75, I had no play. Capital wouldn't play it. Of course they won't. It's their thing. You know, no ILR stations would play it. So no one was playing it. So no one even knew it was out. Michael Hurl, after the first Top of the Pops, bang, I can't remember, but it was straight in the top 40, 33. You'll have to do your homework on that. I can't remember. It's too long ago. But it just whacked in there. And that showed the power of this guy who promised that he would do it.
The Wizard.
It's Paul Hardcastle Jr, everyone.
How are we doing, guys? Very well, thank you. How are you?
Surprise.
Yeah, well, do you know what? I was quite surprised jumping up underneath the bar.
Because I wanted to talk to you because you've just recently done some gigs with Rick Astley, is that right?
It was actually for Paddy McGuinness's, him and his wife have a charity which is for autistic children, and they basically, you know, raised a lot of money. You had Keith Lemon there. Rick was one of the guys that with his band. They were fantastic. And Arj was with the Arj band as well. That was up in Manchester. And it was a great night. Everyone had a really, really good time. So, you know, we did them proud, you know, and they had a great time.
And how long have you played the sax for? Because, you know, in my dreams, I'd love to be able to play the sax, but is it quite a tricky instrument to play?
It is. I mean, the fact is, okay, so I'll just let you into a little secret. My dad had a go at me, right, when he found out. I'm going to grass him up now.
Yeah, go on.
Because he had bought 2 saxophones to play a few notes on the Spice World movie. It was the Spice Girls thing. And he went away with my mum, I think, for a couple of days, and my nan and granddad was here, and I got the soprano sax out, which I was told not to touch. Right, not to touch, right?
Famous last words.
And I blew it, and I just got some notes out of it and showed my nan, but don't tell Dad. And then the next day she goes, I'm so proud of him, because she's Maltese, I'm so proud of him. He's been playing the saxophone, and he went, you've touched my saxophone! Like that. So that was my first introduction to playing the sax.
Okay, not a good start.
But no, to be fair, after that I fell in love with it, and I was lucky enough to, be gifted to the saxophone.
It is a gift, isn't it, to be able to play a musical instrument at that level? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, it has, it takes a lot of practice. And
I was going to say, like, how many hours a day do you do? Is it something that just comes naturally, or do you have to still put in that practice? Kenny G still practices, and he's the most sort of successful saxophonist about, and I think you'll always learn, no matter what you're doing, whether it's your tone, whether it's, whatever, altissimo notes or anything like that, you're always going to be able to improve. It's like footballers, but I think for me, really, I've got sort of to a stage now where I'm comfortable where I am. I've got a great mentor. His name's Rock Hendricks. He lives in Hawaii. Ooh. He plays a lot on Dad's stuff as well. And he's really helped me improve my sax playing. So now I suppose it's really, playing 3 different saxophones. People might not realise it, but they're completely different animals. Okay. A soprano's is easier to play. Alto, I find the easiest. Tenor is a beast that I'm yet to tame. I mean, I do play it, but when you put me up against someone like Rock, he's like, his tone's like, it's like butter. He's unbelievable. But then, he's played with people from, Stevie Wonder to just a lot of big people. But being very kind enough to give me hours of his time to help me out. Yeah, and you play the sax in Arj's band, is that right?
So yeah, I do perform with Arj, and I'm very proud to say that he's doing extremely well. He's looking great. He's sounding great. I've seen him improve so much in a year.
It's good to hear.
He really has started. His confidence. Yeah. He's where he needs to be now. Yeah. And the band that are behind.
It's really good fun, isn't it? Because I've seen it before, and it's just everyone up dancing. It's
absolutely.
Like a good vibe, isn't it?
We did a day at Newcastle. And there was 1,200 ladies. We was on stage, and they was going absolutely wild. And it was probably one of the best gigs that I've done, And the fact that he's such a someone that you can just be normal around, and he's a lovely guy. His heart's in the right place, and he's doing well.
Yeah.
So it's
nice.
We
love that. Big shout out to Arj.
Yeah.
No, thank
love
you
Arj.
so much for coming on. Your dad's an absolute legend, isn't he? What's it like working with him? Is it?
Should I say?
Is that another show?
I don't know whether we'd be banned on TV if I told you that. No, it's been great. The fact that, for instance, 3-4 years old, going over to the studio, I used to sit outside listening to this music being made, and I was lucky enough to meet people like Snake Davis, who's sax player of M People, who's worked on loads of Dad's stuff, and it's been amazing, to be honest with you, and I feel very very lucky, and the fact that I've been given a great life through what my dad does in music. And just lastly, I'd say the amount of now, because I run a lot of my dad's press and the sync stuff, the amount of people that basically reach out and say, you some people have said you've saved my life. Some people have.
Music is just medicine, isn't it?
Yeah,
to me, it's medicine when I listen to it. You can change your mood completely, can't
Absolutely.
it? So.
I mean, the thing really with the 19 is that a lot of the American veterans, they will email and they will say, you do not understand what you've actually done for us. And I know, I've always forwarded him to Dad, and he gets back to people. And I want to say a quick shout out to Dorothy as well. She was 104 when she someone sent a video of her playing Dad's music, and she really enjoyed it. So it's just lovely to see that, really.
And I hear that there's a Paul Hardcastle Jr.
There is indeed, yes. So I've got Paul Jr. So I'm now delegating Dad as senior. I'm going to be Paul.
And then I've got.
Oh no! I've got Paul Jr. And he's a twin. and his sister is called Penelope, and they're both absolutely amazing. And yeah.
Do you think they're going to be musical?
Absolutely.
They have no choice.
Yeah, they have no choice. Just like I didn't. So Paul and Penny, you better be ready for a lot of practicing.
Absolutely. Well, it's a real pleasure to talk to you.
And you, thank you so much.
We will see you on the other side of this. Ritchie, lovely to have you here. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
This is nice. We're getting like the whole family on, so a real special treat here on the show. Now, I hear, a little birdie tells me, that you are off to LA to go and work with Simon Fuller.
I am, yeah. So it'll literally just be for maybe a month, but just to see an insight into Simon's business and sort of, you know, how one of the world's most successful management companies works. I mean,
I'd really like to know that, actually, like just on a day-to-day basis, like all the ins and outs. It's going to be like a valuable experience, really.
yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, music isn't sort of my full-time thing. I work in insurance in the city for a
I was
company
going to say,
called
because
Miller.
how did that sort of cross over? Did you start with music, or you thought that's not for me?
Well, you know what? I think I'm the only one in the family that's basically said that from a young age I've known that I've wanted to do something else as well. You know, it's nice to sort of dip my toe in the family business, and you know, Dad's had me on a few albums like Hardcastle IX or 9, I think that is. Hardcastle 9, I think. But yeah, we got our first ever joint #1 in the US in 3 different charts. So
That's with Tropicool.
yeah, exactly,
Yes.
absolutely. So
What was that like? Because that was kind of your first kind of thing that you did, wasn't it?
you know, first big thing, definitely. I mean, it was really weird actually because you know, I remember we you know recorded it, and then maybe, you know, 8 months later I'd forgotten about it. And Dad comes in my room one day. I was like, "Oh, Rich, I've got some good news." I was like, "Okay, you know, what's this about then?" He goes, "Oh, you know, just so you know, we're in the top 10. I mean, what do you mean we're in the top 10? He's like, "Yeah, well, you know," he showed me the chart. I think it was, I don't know, number 7, number 8, something like that. I was like, "Oh, that's fantastic." You know, you don't get your hopes up with these things, right? Then, you know, maybe a week later, a few days later, however long it was, you know, it's the same thing. "Oh, yeah, we've bumped up a few places. You know, we might be on for a good one here." And then again, after another few days or however long it was, yeah, he come in and said, "Right, we've got a #1." And
That's got to be the most insane feeling, right?
it's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I would never have thought in a million years that I could say that. And, you know, as much as I want to say that, oh, you know, obviously it's all me, you know, 99% of the credit does go to Dad because, you know, he's been doing it for so long, and, you know, it's obviously a real passion of his.
But that's a really nice thing, isn't it? How many people get to say, "Oh, actually, it is like a dad and son thing."
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that is a kind of really good feeling, I can imagine.
It is quite nice, and you know, we got a little commemorative plaque to sort of go with it and stuff, and you know, it's got
Celebrated hard, right?
absolutely.
Of course.
Went down to my local pub with some very good friends, and Dad joined us for a few drinks as well, and yeah, we had a good evening. It was good fun.
It's got to be done.
Oh, well, absolutely, no other way to do it.
So there's no other plans to kind of, you know, do that again, or?
I think something's on the cards,
Oh,
but
okay.
you know, we've sort of, you know, looking at a few bits and pieces, but I guess we'll see. You know, never say never, I guess.
Exactly. But you're starting a new job, is that right?
I am in London at Miller Insurance, so very different from the music world, obviously, but yeah, I've, you know, got other interests as well as the music side of things, so
Yeah, absolutely.
very excited.
Well, it's good to meet the whole family, more or
Yeah.
less, you know, and just brilliant what you do, and great to hear your story. So thank you so much, Ritchie.
Thank you.
It was a great article, actually, about Simon Fuller connection. Tell us more about that.
So, I'll cut it short because it would take a long time. So basically what happened was I'd released this record in America called Rainforest. And I didn't think nothing of it. It was just like, it was done for a body popping video. And all of a sudden in America, it just blew up. And when I say blew up, I mean blew up. 1 minute, hardly anything. Within 2 weeks, it outsold Madonna on the 12-inch sales chart. That's sales, not just radio play, but sales on the 12-inch sales chart. So what happened was Simon Fuller had actually signed the writers of Like a Virgin, and he's seen his record get knocked off, and he's by someone he's never heard of before. So he got in touch with me and just sort of said, "Would you like to come in for a chat?" So I said, "Yeah, why not?" And I must admit, as soon as I sort of met him, it was basically we just felt like friends. Really felt like friends.
Straight away, you got
straight away. So we had a good chat, and he said, when I walked in, he went, "So you're the one that's knocked my bloody record off the top of the chart." But you know, this was sales. This was. I mean, you can take a picture of the chart. You'll have to do that. But so anyway, cut long story short, he said, "Would you like to meet with the hierarchy and see if there's anything we could do together, you know, wise? And if you've got anything else you're working on, can you bring it in?" I had just done the 19 demo. And I took it in, and I played it to the people at Chrysalis, and the reaction was like someone sort of, I don't know, they'd just seen an alien land. You know, it was just like, and I suppose I understand it because you know it's in the past now. But if I did it now, and I bring you a record in about someone's head being blown off, which it, and also this no, you know, it's one of the first things to do that. They just all looked at each other, and at the end of the meeting, it was like, "Well, thank you very much, Paul. We'll be in touch." I knew it was like they weren't interested, but Simon stayed behind, and he said, "Look, I get this. I actually understand what you're trying to do here." He said, "This is either going to be the biggest flop in the world, or it's going to basically go into the stratosphere."
Wow.
And straight after that, he said, "Look, what about if I become your manager and I leave Chrysalis?" And I was still green under the ears, or whatever the saying is, and I just said, "Well, what does a manager do?" And he said, "Are we allowed to say swear words? Very slight ones?"
Depends what it is, Paul.
Crap?
I think we're okay with that.
Okay.
Thought it was going to be worse.
No, I wouldn't do that. No, you're a lady, come on.
Okay.
Jesus, chivalry's not dead here. Anyway, he said, "I guess I'll just take all the crap for you." And that, because Simon wasn't a manager, he was in publisher, so he didn't know, I didn't know. We just went, "Yeah, let's do it." 2 months later, #1 in 13 different countries all over the world, and it was just like, it was like a nuclear explosion, and that's such the great story. He had faith in me by leaving his job. I had faith in him because he wasn't a manager.
Good partnership.
And we just felt, and we're still,
right.
you know, he's still actually to this day. I'm doing something in America as well, and he's helping me now.
Oh, is he?
We're still best friends. He was my best man. He was my daughter's godfather.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, I mean, So, do you want a little story about him, which you'll hate?
Go on, Paul. Go on.
He'll hate.
Give us the exclusive.
I'm the only person to ever get him on stage. We was in Paris doing it was only a playback sort of show, but one of the guys that was supposed to be behind the keyboards, he wasn't well. And I said to Simon, "You're going to have to come up there." And he's very shy, Simon, as you know, right? He doesn't put his face. He's not like Simon Cowell that wants to be in everything. He just puts his face underground and just, you know, if you ever look at the speech when he collects this thing, you know, when you do your handprint in what's it called, something shit theatre show, where they've got all the famous people's handprint in LA.
I just come back from there, the Walk of Fame.
That's it, yeah. Exactly. But it's outside a Chinese place, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's in, what's her name, Kelly Rowland's song, isn't it? Anyway, we digress. Sorry, we've just been told it is
Man's Theatre.
Thank you very much. There you go.
Someone's on it.
Well, well done, Simon.
Good job, Simon.
Well done, Simon. So basically, if you look at the speech of him when he's, you know, doing that, and there's all these people around him, he's just shy and he's just saying, "Look, it's down to all you guys." He never takes the sort of credit for much at all, and he's the most successful manager ever. They stopped counting his #1s that he had at 500. So there you go. There's some exclusives.
There we go. We love an exclusive.
But anyway, I was saying, I got Simon on stage to mime behind this keyboard, and he did look uncomfortable, and I'm just laughing at him.
Bless him.
But it's a shame we never had it on video.
Paul, we're going to go into Walk in the Night. This has got like a real jazz kind of feel, hasn't it? Is that your favourite style?
I'm into, do you know what? I'm into chill step and stuff like that now. I really like that. Jazz isn't my thing. It's just that a lot of the records that basically I put out have got saxophone on them. And especially in America, as soon as you've got saxophone, hey man, that's jazz, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they call it. I mean, it was just a song that I really liked and I wanted to cover and I did it. And that was the beginning really of my career in America again. So it's, you know, because obviously I changed careers, you know, it's like no more pop, get into stuff that people are going to sort of listen to for ages. And so that's why I did it really. Yeah. But it's me orchestrating some animals. So.
Okay. Well, check out that video right now. But Paul, this has been a wonderful experience because, firstly, I really appreciate the paracetamol.
That's all
in
right.
a sparkly pink bag. That was iconic. We love that. Secondly, it's been my birthday week, and this has been part of the little party here, hasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Meeting the whole family. So we love that.
Exactly.
And just a real sort of kind of insight.
Well,
It's been really good fun.
it was good fun to actually interview you. I didn't let on that I was going to do that.
I was sweating. I was like, what's he up to?
Under pressure.
He's getting me again. But no, it's been a real pleasure to have you here, Paul. And hopefully keep us in contact about the book.
I will do 100%, definitely.
Anything in the future,
and I mean, I'll come back on any time you like. And I have to say a big hi to...
Oh, yes. Who?
Bridget.
Yes.
And...
Philip.
You can name him. It was lovely coming around your house, and maybe we'll do it again soon.
They're
Take
my
care.
bosses.
I know.
Yeah,
they're
lovely,
very,
aren't they?
very, very nice people. Yeah, made me feel very welcome.
I know. They do lovely cake there.
Yep.
I haven't been offered cake here, but it's all right. I've been offered
Well,
Baileys
you might
instead.
do. You might.
Oh, really? There we go. There we go. But Paul Hardcastle, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Hayley. Lovely to see you as well again.
Huge thank you, Paul Hardcastle. What a guest, and his lovely sons as well. Just a real great exclusive on tonight's show. And thank you to you at home for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. Now, I will see you same time, same place next week. I'm Hayley Palmer. Stay safe, and I will see you then.